Tuesday morning, and it's good to share a devotion with you very quickly. You know, we spoke yesterday that you belong in the church because God chose that for you. We read that in 1 Corinthians 12 verse 13, that God baptized us into the body. I want to say to you that because of that, you belong in the church. You see, before you were a Christian, you belonged to the world. You were defined by the world. You were shaped by the world. You know, you were identified by your worldliness. But when you gave your life to Jesus Christ, that all changed in a moment. You no longer belong to the world, but you belong to God. And the place that God puts you into is the body. Remember, in 1 Corinthians, the whole analogy is that we are part of one body. Verse 13 again, for in one spirit we were all baptized into the body. And so we were once identified in the world, but now we are defined and shaped because we're part of the body of Christ. Practically what that looks like is that when I get saved, I become part of a church. I become part of a local body. And it's in that local body that I'm defined. It's in that local body that I'm shaped. I'm defined as a Christian in the local body because I am now united with the people of God, no longer with the world. And also I'm shaped because when we belong to something, maybe in your family or even a sports team or even at school, wherever you belong, isn't it true that when we belong to a place, we start to do the same things, we start to enjoy the same things, we want to learn the same things, we believe often the same things? And that's exactly what happens in church. Once you belong to the body, once you commit to the local church, once you're part of the family, and that's where you learn, and that's where you grow, that's where you get discipled, and that's where your life begins to shape into the form and into the likeness of Jesus Christ. And so God's design is that you and I are part of the body of Christ. He puts us there. We now belong to Him. We don't belong to the world anymore. We identify now with the church, God's people. We are shaped by the church, God's people, no longer the world and the things of the world. So I want to encourage you today. Why don't you commit to your church? Why don't you be defined by being a Christian within a local body, the church, the Barn Christian Fellowship, in your case, if you're watching us from our church. And let your relationships and your family in your church help you, not just to define yourself, but also help you to shape your life so that you can become more Christ-like. That's God's design for you. I trust today that you would commit to God's design. Again, it's not a matter of choice.